Hello. Today, let me walk you through the 10 to the power of 8 rule. When we try to solve a programming problem, we have to compare solutions. For example, here is duplicate integer problem. For example, duplicate integer problem. What is duplicate integer problem? It's very simple. Nums is 1, 2, 2, 3. This is true because nums contain duplicate number. Otherwise, 1, 2, 3. This is false because nums don't contain duplicate number. It's very simple problem. And we can think of two approaches. First, brute force approach. Brute force. Or hash set approach. Brute force approach, its time complexity is big O n square. Because brute force, we use duplicate loops, double loops. And hash set approach is time complexity is big O and linear time. Which approach is better? Now, of course, hash set approach is more efficient and smart. But there are more conditions. Brute force approaches, space complexity is big O 1 constant time. How about hash set? Space complexity is big O n linear time because these approaches use one hash set at least. So, which plan is better? In this case, we should confirm the constraints. Constraints, so we have to confirm range of n. Like this. If maximum of n is really bigger, we have to think of more efficient approach. So maybe we can choose this. But otherwise, maximum of n is less, we can choose brute force approach. Because we don't have to be careful uh, time complexity. So here is the 10 to the power of 8 approach. 10 to the power of 8 rule. Sorry, 10 to the power of 8 rule. The 10 to the power of 8 rule is a rule of thumb based on typical CPU speed and the overhead of high-level operation. Overhead of operation. The rule can be used to check if an algorithm will pass within a standard 1 second time limit. So next. Why is 10 to the power of 8 It's a balance between CPU clock speed and instruction overhead. Modern CPU run at roughly 2 to the 4 gigahertz. This is 2 times 10 to the power of 9 to until 4 times 10 to the power of 9 cycles per second. One operation in your code, like array, access and add in Python append. This is very simple operation. This is not one CPU cycle. It involves multiple low-level instructions, for example, catch fetches and branch checks, etc. So to ensure a solution passes across different judge environments, we use 10 to the power of 8 as a conservative estimate. Conservative estimate. Okay. Generally, Generally, Golang is 2 times 10 to the power of n until 5 times 5 times 10 to the power of 8 is better. And C++ is 10 to the power of 8 until 5 times 10 to the power of 8. And Java is 10 to the power of 7 to 10 to the power of 8. And Python is interpreted language. So there are many overheads. So this is 10 to the power of 6, 10 to the power of 7 is limit. So Python is slow, but Golang is very fast because this is static type language and not interpreted because build in advance build and only use binary. Okay, next. Why is 1 second? 1 second means most online judge sets a time limit of 1 second to the 2 seconds. For example, add coder or read code, etc. Per test cases, this is per 1 test case. And it is the industry standard. Industry standard. For measuring algorithm efficiency. Okay, let's wrap up. Keep in mind to be careful of constraints and time complexity. Constraints and time complexity. If n is so here, so n is greater than 10 to the power of 4, we shouldn't use n square approach. So we shouldn't use brute force approach. But on the other hand, if maximum n is less than 10 to the power of 4, for example, this is 10 to the power of 3. This is very small maximum limit. So you have some choices. You can choose brute force or hash set. In this case, space complexity is more efficient, so we can use brute force approach. Okay, today I talk about 10 to the power of 8 rule. We can use when we try to solve programming problem. This is helpful. So thank you for watching. See you by next time.